Just when I thought I was out, they reel me back in. Hello everyone, this is Psyche. So it's been a while, huh? Well, after some complications that I will get to later, Dead Cells 3.5 is finally out after like almost a year. Let's talk about it today. Update 3.5 is aptly named The End is Near, with a focus on the curse mechanic. Now, I've had a few runs to test out the new goodies, and this patch is one of the more odd but also influential ones I've seen. There's a total of 3 new weapons and mutations. We'll start with the former. Missouri Corde is a brutality tactics weapon that has the beheaded punch a nail with a hammer. There's a total of 2 hits in the combo, and whenever you hit something, you will gain an instance of a curse. If the enemy has less than 50% HP left, you deal a critical hit. So I took this one out for a spin, and well, this is one of the most interesting but also strangest weapons I've seen. Basically, you better hope you can either 1 or 2 shot the target you want, otherwise you'll start accumulating curse stacks. If you keep hammering on an elite, for example, you're gonna be getting those curses real quickly. A unique spin on risk versus reward, but unless I'm wrong, in the last couple years I played this game, being cursed is kind of a big deal. It's not just a minor inconvenience. If you get hit once with that skull over your head, the run is over. I would say it's better to run as a support weapon to finish off the enemy, but having 1 stack of curse at all is pretty risky. There's a reason I don't rank the curse sword after all these years. There's a couple more synergies I'll talk about later, but I see this as a gimmick weapon that surprisingly hasn't changed at all since the last time I logged in. You obviously can't use this in bosses as well unless you got a death wish. Do I think it breaks the meta? Nah. But are you gonna look really cool using it? Absolutely. Anathema weaponizes Mushroom Boy into a bomb. Whenever lobbing over this thing in an explosion, if you hit something with it, you get a curse stack. Notice that it's whenever you hit something and not kill it. So it's not very good return on investment if it takes multiple hits. Once again, you can't bring this into boss fights. What's worth noting is that if the explosion kills an enemy, the curse stack occurs afterwards. Meaning if you keep chaining kills with it, you'll be stuck having that 1 stack of curse unless you clean up the last kill with another item. It does do a lot of damage, but it's once again one of those risk versus reward items that greatly favor the bold. This tactics survival weapon is not for the faint of heart. Lastly, we have a new skill called Indulgence. Calling down a beam of light, you damage the nearby target, lifting 3 curses instead of 1 for every kill. Perfect for cleaning up those curse stacks. You even get an additional beam for every 5 stacks you have. I overall found this to be quite easy to use. The only thing is that the beheaded will stand in place for a brief moment, which can make you vulnerable to attacks, but hey, the idea is what matters. There's also the 3 new mutations to play with, all of them revolving around the curse mechanic as well. All 3 are also colorless. The first one is Cursed Flask. This one will curse you for 20 stacks whenever the health flask is used, but you may use it infinitely. Now, I imagine this one is going to be used quite strategically, as if you're cursed to begin with, you're not going to be taking many hits at all. I haven't had the chance to test this one out thoroughly, but the concept is cool. Damned Vigor will protect you for 2 seconds after your health reaches 0. Get any kill while in this dying mode, and you will revive with 1 health. If not, then you just die for real. I was able to test this while being cursed, and surprisingly, it does save you from a cursed death as well. I'm looking at the cursed sword right now. Maybe it's not a meme after all. Lastly, Demonic Strength. Your damage increases by 30% if cursed and plus 2% for every instance of curse you have. I tried a Missouri Corde run with it and things got a little out of hand. I think this is a meme, but hey, if you like things extra dangerously, you might just be able to have some fun with it. During your runs, you can now encounter what is known as cursed biomes. They will have the skull icon over their door, and if you choose to enter one, things are going to change up a little. First, 3 new enemies will be able to spawn in cursed biomes. The sore loser that looks like a gremlin, while it doesn't attack you, if you accidentally kill it, you get a few stacks of curses. Probably the least dangerous out of the 3, but if you don't plan carefully, this little guy might just end your run. The second enemy is the Doombringer. This thing breathes a dark fume at you that gives 2 instances of curses, but doesn't actually do any damage. Still, being cursed is a big deal, so as long as you plan carefully, this thing won't pose too much of a threat, I imagine. The last contender is, well, the Cursor. Wielding a staff, it fires this purple skull projectile that follows you around for a bit. You can't get rid of it unless you just wait around, and if you get hit by it, you guessed it, curse stacks for you. So all of these things sound pretty terrifying, but entering cursed biomes does have its perk. The items found and sold in the shops will have its tier upgraded by 1. This can create some interesting scenarios where your biome choices in a run can now be influenced by this mechanic, as it's easier to justify going to a certain area if the loot is good enough. It's worth mentioning that the cursed biomes will only start appearing in 2 BC and onwards, and there is a cap on how many can be generated depending on the BC level. The biome selection has also been overhauled a little bit. There's too many to go through, but the rundown is that you can now access the Castlevania biomes more freely, including ways to visit both the early and late game versions. I'll scroll through the updated biome map on the wiki really quickly, but all of this can also be found in the in-game map. There's also some new cosmetics, including ways to customize the beheaded's orb head thing. You can't use it with all the costumes, but aside from the Bobby head, this is a nice way to add new appearances for the character. I'm not too big on cosmetics, so I'll leave you to explore. And well, that about covers it. There's some changes regarding new legendary affixes, some bug fixes, and other things. It's cool to see the game lean into a slightly different aspect, and I will certainly be playing around with these new toys to see how they shake up the game. I know this is a short and simple video, but I'm hoping to release a longer update on what I've been up to for the past year. Anyways, I appreciate everyone for coming to my little return. I'll have more news in the near future. Thanks for watching, and always remember, have fun with the game.